Hi there, welcome back. Today we're talking about how you can move to New Zealand with a sponsored job. Because let's be honest, who wouldn't want to work there? The average salary in New Zealand is around 79,000 New Zealand dollars per year, which is approximately 39 lakhs. And getting an accredited employer work visa allows you to live and work in New Zealand for 3 to 5 years. But more importantly, you can apply for a PR in 2 years and take your family along. So you see why it's a really popular work destination. In today's video, I'll be breaking down the advantages for you to move to New Zealand, the jobs in demand and the salaries that you can earn in New Zealand, how you can move to New Zealand using the Accredited Employer Work Visa, the eligibility, the green list and jobs on the green list, job portals to get a job, the cost of the visa and the cost of living in New Zealand. If you're new, I'm Ashika and I share tips on how you can move anywhere across the world to work or to study. Subscribe if you're looking to move and would like information on the best countries across the world. And with that, let's dive in. One of the biggest reasons for anyone to move to New Zealand is the money. The average pay in New Zealand is $79,000, which is higher than most countries. Most cities in New Zealand saw 6 to 8% increase in salaries over the years. The average salary in Wellington is 76,000 New Zealand dollars, Southland is 70,000, Canterbury is 70,000 and Marlborough is 70,000 as well. Now to give you an idea of how much you can earn in New Zealand, the average salary for those in accounting is $94,000. For business analysts, it's $100,000. School principals earn $127,000. Electricians make $78,000. Electrical engineers make $95,000. Chefs make $47,000. Dentists make $180,000. Nurses get $74,000. Cardiologists make a whopping $210,000. Back-end developers make $77,000, UI/UX designers make $102,000, and marketing managers make $100,000. Store managers make $57,000, delivery drivers make $49,000. That's a lot of money. The average tax paid in New Zealand is 21.1% versus the UK, for instance, which is 23.7%. The highest tax bracket of 38% over 180,000 New Zealand dollars, unlike in the UK, for instance, where if you fall in the highest tax bracket, you pay an additional rate of 45% as tax. Now, if you want to know how much tax you will have to pay in New Zealand, it's very simple. Hop over to this page and enter the salary, and it will show you how much you will eventually take home and how much you will lose to tax. Now, coming to the standard of living, New Zealand is one of the safest places in the world with low crime rates, a world-class health system, government subsidized healthcare and education, which makes it a brilliant place to live. And one of the best parts about living in New Zealand is that you can apply for a PR after living in New Zealand for just 2 years. Now, coming to the Accredited Employer Work Visa. With the Accredited Employer Work Visa, you can stay in New Zealand for up to 3 years. It was 5 years earlier, but now it's changed to 3 years, with new changes announced in April of 2024. Unless you are in a level 4 or 5 jobs paying at or above the AEW wage rate, then it's 2 years. On the other hand, it will continue to be 5 years if you're on the green list, and we'll come to that in a minute. It will then continue to be 5 years. Or if you're in transport and care sector agreements and you're on a pathway to residence. Or if you're earning 1.5 times the median wage. Or if you fall under the ANZ level 1 to 3 jobs. Now, you're also allowed to study for up to 3 months in 12 months, or do any study required as a part of your employment. And apart from that, your employer will be legally obligated to employ you for at least 30 hours a week. Now, if you aren't aware, the ANZ is a way of categorizing jobs in Australia and New Zealand. Skill level 1 is a bachelor's degree or higher. Skill level 2 is a diploma or an advanced diploma or higher. Skill level 3 is a register level 4 qualification. And likewise, you can see the rest of them here. Now, in order to be eligible for this visa, you will need to prove that you have minimum skills and 3 years or more of relevant work experience, or a relevant qualification at a level 4 or above of the New Zealand Qualifications and Credentials Framework. If the job is an ANZ level 4 or 5, you need to also show that you can speak and understand English. Something you need to understand is that it is only accredited employers that can sponsor people from outside the country. For you to check if an employer is accredited or not, it's really simple. Head over to the government website, scroll down and enter the company name. Now, something you should bear in mind is that sometimes the company may not be listed because some companies choose not to have their names published. So typically, if you're looking for a job in New Zealand and you see an opening that looks right for you, first check if they're on the list. If they are, absolutely great. But if they're not, I would still say go ahead and apply, and as soon as you're shortlisted, check with the recruiting team so you don't end up wasting your time. Now, let's talk about some hard-hitting facts. As of this year, New Zealand has decided to tighten rules to focus on getting the right candidates into New Zealand, which means the criteria for getting a sponsor job is going to get a little tougher. But does that mean it's going to be impossible to get a job? Absolutely not. Because last year itself, 173,000 people moved to New Zealand for jobs, and New Zealand is still looking to hire. The fact that you should remember is that they're looking to hire for roles where there is a shortage. Now, you could be incredibly talented or have an incredible skill, but if it isn't the skill set that New Zealand is looking for, you will not get sponsored, unfortunately. And that's exactly where the green list comes in. It was earlier called the skill shortage list or the essential skills in demand list. The green list was created to make it simpler for employers to attract migrants into skilled, highly paid roles and care workforce operations. If your job is listed on the green list and you have the qualifications, registration, or experience that is required, you could get residency immediately after 2 years of working in New Zealand. Now, you can find out more about the green list here. And these are the roles on the green list that are in high demand in New Zealand at the moment. There's registered nurses, general practitioners, teachers, IT professions, electricians, plumbers, surveyors, civil engineers, construction workers, specialist medical professions, midwives, other medical roles, engineers, electrical and telecom engineers, accountants, procurement managers, scientists, automotive workers, manufacturing specialists, agriculture and forestry workers, truck drivers, chefs, scientists, and adventure workers. Now, some of the job portals that you can consider to help you get a job in New Zealand include seek.co.nz, trademe.co.nz, careers.government.nz, nz.jora.com, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed, Google Jobs, and all the regular culprits. Now, one of the biggest selling points about this visa is that you can take your partner along with you on an accredited employer work visa or on an essential skills work visa, and they are allowed to work with an open work permit. Now, an open visa means that your partner can work with any employer with no pay requirements, which is brilliant. There are 2 criteria that you need to fulfill. You need to earn at least the median wage rate, or you have to work on a job on the green list. And here too, you will have to earn at least the median wage rate. If you want to bring your children along, you will have to apply for a student visa for them, but the condition is that you earn at least $43,322 each year. Now, something very, very important is for you to understand and bear in mind how much it's going to cost you to stay in New Zealand, because it's important for you to check how much you will eventually be able to save at the end of every month. Now, the cost of living for New Zealand for one person in a major city is anywhere between $4,000 to $5,000 per month. For a family of 4, you should expect to need at least $6,000 to $7,000 per month. The cost of living in New Zealand is 6% less expensive compared to the UK, for instance. Now, while this isn't a significant difference, it is still something for you to keep in mind. The process to apply for this visa is relatively simple. To start off, you need to get a job offer from an accredited employer. Next, you'd have to complete your work visa via an online application. And finally, you need to apply online and pay the visa fees. The visa will cost you $750, which is typically paid by your employer on your behalf, and they often also cover travel and accommodation, but it honestly depends on the employer, so it's worth having this conversation with them. The processing time isn't too long, it's around 6 weeks, but again, bear in mind it could be more or less, so do plan accordingly. And that's it! I hope this video was helpful. If it was, give it a thumbs up and drop me a comment if you have any questions.